Hey everyone. So in this video, we're going to talk through two different exercises that we can use to challenge the coordinative interaction between the hamstrings and the abdominals on a muscular level. Now, the hamstrings and the abdominals will express a very important muscular coordinative interaction or relationship to control the position of the pelvis, okay, during walking, during running, okay. Very often clinically, when we see poor load capacity, but within the hamstrings or within the abdominals, and poor coordination between these two individual muscular tissues or muscular groups, we often see individuals expressing more of a close packed position at the lumbar spine, where we may see more of a flexion of the pelvis and an extension at the lumbar spine. Now, this isn't necessarily a bad thing, but what that position does is it facilitates less kinematic variability at the lumbar spine. Okay, and less kinematic variability at the lumbar spine and an inability to move in the opposing direction will represent that the individual might not feel comfortable managing and shearing forces around the pelvis and around the lumbar spine. Okay, so we can use these forefoot bridging strategies with a plate press and a medicine ball catch and press to challenge the hamstrings while simultaneously challenging the force production capacity and the load capacity of the lumbar flexors. And this will simultaneously reduce the contribution from the lumbar extensors. Okay, so in this first strategy here, you're going to see a plate press. So what the athlete is going to do, and these are both clips from an IKN performance course in person that we did in Seoul, South Korea a while back. So we're going to first engage the bridge positions. We're build pressure through the medicine ball here through the forefoot. The amount of knee flexion or knee extension is dependent on the load capacity of the client through the hamstrings, through the plantar flexors, and through the glutes. We're then going to build pressure down, hover the pelvis, hold that position. Then we're going to have the client, and the client can manipulate the level of intensity with the plate press here as well. But what the client's typically going to feel is a lot more load move through the abdominals, and they're going to feel an increased contraction through the hamstrings here because the lumbar extensors aren't going to be able to contribute to that bridge. Okay, and so it's a matter of holding this position, maintaining the load isometrically through the hamstrings, and continuing to press the plate. Typically, we like to hold this for at least 30 to 45 seconds and even up to a minute, depending on the client's level of capacity. Okay, then we can challenge things a little bit further. We can add this drop and catch, where the therapist is dropping the medicine ball to the athlete who is already assuming that bridge position. If we wanted them to reduce the complexity or the challenge here, we can have the client press and catch with a much lower intensity, just to maintain a longer, more sustained time under tension. Okay, but you're going to see a much greater challenge here with the clients to maintain that bridge position and then reverse that throw in the opposing direction to challenge a lot more low capacity through the abdominals. You're going to see the client's not going to be able to maintain this for very long. The client's going to fatigue very quickly here. Okay, but again, we can work towards this after the clients can initiate that medicine ball press on their own. But a great way to facilitate a much greater coordinative interaction between the abdominals, between the hamstrings, in a way that can be manipulated as well. But like I said, the importance of this coordination on a muscular level between the hamstrings and the abdominals is very important to facilitate a certain control around the pelvis, around the femur, around the lumbar spine. But it does so in a way where it facilitates a greater level of variability at the lumbar spine and around the pelvis, because it allows us to maintain some level of kinematic variability at the lumbar spine, because when the lumbar spine expresses more of a flex position, doesn't mean we're at the end range of lumbar flexion. But when we move into lumbar extension, that's when we're expressing more of a closed pack position where we have less variability between those vertebral segments. So we want to try and always hold on to some level of variability between interacting segments, not the end range of a certain movement, but we're biasing those segments towards a position of greater variability. And then in this scenario here, we're challenging the muscular coordination between the hamstrings and the abdominals.